Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Health Check. I am Dr. Vanessa Bolling. Come on in, everyone. Good morning, good morning. This is the last Tuesday of 2023. Can you believe it? We made it. Good morning, everyone tuning in. Health Check, as you know, is sponsored by Kingdom Health Connections. Kingdom Health Connections is a health promotional resource center for you, the entire family, where you can get health information, health education, and it's kept pure and clean. There's nothing else that's behind it except the kingdom principles by which we live by. I pray that you're excited this morning. I am super excited. We made it to the last Tuesday of the month. As you can see, all month we've been talking about overeating. We've been talking about ways in which we recognize we're overeating, ways in which we can reduce the likelihood of us overeating. And today we're going to be talking about different reasons as to why we overeat. Maybe throughout the month you've identified, you know what, I think I've been overeating all this time. I want to do better for 2023, but also do better in I want to do better for 2022, but I also want to do even greater for 2023. If you can attest to that, go ahead and say, I'm ready for 2023. I want to do better in 2023. I myself included. Yes, Dr. Vanessa is included. I am human. I'm an individual. I've got a spirit. I've got a body. I've got a soul. I'm a part of this journey and this walk and this lifestyle, just like you are. So tune in, everyone. Good morning. Let's talk about different reasons why we overeat. There's so many different reasons why we overeat. One of the reasons we overeat is vitamin deficiencies. We can be deficient in certain vitamins. Our bodies are so fearfully and wonderfully made. They're so complex. It's so complex. Our bodies are built with a system to maintain equilibrium, maintain homeostasis, and to survive and to live. So when our bodies are deficient of vitamins, our bodies will communicate to our brain, rather, our organ systems will communicate to our brain, and our brain will then say, okay, all right, it's going to trigger the hormone release where we now feel that we're hungry. And as a result, we're going to start eating so we can meet those vitamin deficiencies. So it's very, very interesting systems that are in place. So we can be overeating because we're deficient in vitamins. And as a result, we eat, and our brains are going to continue to tell us that we're hungry because we need to meet that vitamin deficiency. So it may not be that we're actually hungry, but we can attest to this. Sometimes we may think that we're hungry, but we're actually thirsty. We may think that we're hungry and we actually need to go to sleep. So it causes a dysregulation of the appetite stimulating hormone called ghrelin. And that affects our hypothalamus, right? And that's a portion in our brain that controls our hunger center. So if we're vitamin deficient, all these systems are working in place for us to be able to just take in that vitamin that we need. So that's one of the reasons why we can overeat. We may be vitamin deficient. We may be hungry for something other than food. I mentioned that. We may not actually be needing the pie. We may not need the bag of chips. We may need protein. We may need fiber. We may need to drink more water. We may not actually need what we think we need. We don't need the bag of chips. We need water. We're probably consuming the bag of chips so we can retain some salt. So sometimes we may think, oh, I want something salty, so let me grab that bag of chips. That's actually our body's way of also telling us you need more water. Why? Because when we eat that salt, we retain the water. And as a result, we're retaining the water because our body's in need of water, not the chips, but actually water. So all these different deficiencies, deficiency in fiber, deficiency in fat, deficiency in water can cause us to overeat, deficiency in vitamins as well. Our bodies may also be a little confused. If we're not getting enough sleep, we're not getting that restorative sleep that lets our body know that, okay, we're resting here. and we're not getting the restorative sleep that allows us to heal and be restored and be ready for the next day. And as a result, that lack of sleep can cause a dysregulation in how much of that ghrelin, that appetite stimulating hormone, is released from our brains. So we may be overeating because we're actually tired, as I mentioned. So we may also overeat because we're eating with our eyes. I love what my mentor says, Apostle Dr. Susan Howard. I love what she says when she says, we're just trying to make our brain happy. Our brain just wants to be happy. Our brain just wants to be satisfied, have the dopamine release, have the endorphin release. So sometimes that's all that we need. So we're looking at the food rather, and it's like we're eating with our eyes. We're literally eating with our eyes. Our eyes are sending a communication to our brain, and our brain just wants to be happy. So we just grab it. We're eating, but it's not actually what our body needs. So again, our brain just wants to be happy. It doesn't know we're overeating. It doesn't know that we're not taking in enough rather, our appetite doesn't know that we're not taking in enough vitamins or we're not getting in enough water. We're just eating with our eyes. So that's another reason why we overeat. We eat with our eyes. We see what we want. It sends a message to our brain that just wants to be happy and be content. And then we start eating. And we probably don't stop. We go for seconds when we don't really need it. And overeating, as I mentioned at the beginning of the month, it's linked to obesity. It's linked to us having a higher weight than what we actually need. So we also overeat when our plates are larger than what they need to be. So, those large oval plates, maybe you get at Longhorn or someplace else that has those large oval plates. So we're putting more on the plate than we actually need. So sometimes our portion sizes are off because of the plate that we're carrying. So pay attention to that too as well. I mentioned that we might not be drinking enough water, and that can cause us to overeat. We're taking in too much refined carbs, and then we're triggering another system in our body that says we're taking in too much carbs. Now let's secrete all this insulin in our body. So it's activating that endocrine response. So now the pancreas is secreting all this insulin to bring our sugar levels down. Then our sugar levels come down rapidly. And because of that rapid change, now we continue to eat. We continue to eat because our bodies are saying, whoa, our sugars are dropping and they're dropping too low. It's time to eat. So to make sure that homeostatic environment is maintained in our body. So again, I mentioned not enough fiber, not enough healthy fats that we're consuming can also affect our ability to eat the right proportion that we need. Sometimes we're overeating because we know the new year is coming up. So sometimes we overeat because I'm going to eat all that I can right now because the up and coming year is coming up. So let me get in all maybe the bacon that I need to get in, and let me get in all the candy that I could get in. So we then now overeat because it's like, okay, let me just satisfy myself with all that I need or I think I need before I start this new regime in the upcoming year. So sometimes it's our mindset with the change that's coming up. We try and consume all these things because we want to preserve it. That mindset that we do this, it's not that we're keeping all that stuff in our bodies to satisfy us for the 3 months that we're thinking about committing to kickstarting and launching that new lifestyle. It actually does more harm to our bodies when we're taking all these things, all these substances, all these refined carbs to meet our appetite, and it's doing damage to our bodies. Sometimes we're meeting our appetite, but yet it's doing damage to our bodies. So we definitely have to be careful about that. We overeat because we're emotionally eating, we're stressed, we're bored, we're overwhelmed. Sometimes we're also overeating because of medication. Certain medications could cause us to overeat. For example, steroids. So is always to keep in mind, maybe you're on steroids for a short period of time, to keep in mind, okay, are you really hungry or do you just need to drink water? Because steroids can be dehydrating to the body. So if you are on a short course of steroids, maybe you've been prescribed steroids for a long period of time. Be careful. You may not actually be hungry, but steroids will cause you to keep weight on, store water as well. So those are different reasons why we can overeat. We're eating for comfort, we're eating for support, we're trying to self-soothe with food, because when we eat food, there's a chemical response that happens in our bodies. So there's so many different reasons why we overeat. And I wanted to end with this last reason why we overeat. We can overeat because of soul disorders. Soul disorders. Those who are in the Apostles' House, those tuning in on the Kingdom Health Connections page, maybe even on YouTube, we can overeat because of soul disorders. And we know that the soul is the seat of our will, our mind, our emotions. So we talked about the emotional eating as a reason for why we overeat. If our emotions are not stable, we will overeat. And that our emotions are a part of our soul. Not only that, when it comes to the soul disorders as well, our appetite, we're talking about our appetite. The soul is also the seat of our appetite. Believe it or not, the same region of the brain that controls our appetite controls the hunger center. It's called the hypothalamus. So guess what? If something's going on in our soul and our soul is impacted and we're dealing and we haven't dealt with the soul disorders or the disorders within our soul, we're going to overeat. We're going to overeat. So I implore you, if you have not already registered in the month of January, from January 2nd to January 30th, I implore you to register for Soul Detox 2023. This upcoming year, the discussion is recognizing and dismantling and functioning with defense and coping mechanisms. So we know sometimes, again, like I mentioned, a reason why we overeat is because we're trying to cope with things that are going on in our soul, in our mind, in our will, in our emotions, and it's impacting our appetite. Now we're overeating. And could it be that the reason that we're overweight is the reason why we are diagnosed now? Because if you don't know, obesity is a diagnosis. Could it be that we received the diagnosis of obesity because of the soul disorders, because our appetite center is dysregulated? Now there's an overproduction of that appetite stimulating hormone called ghrelin. Now we're overeating because of a disorder in our soul. A disorder in our soul will cause a disorder in our body as well. So I implore you, go over to www.suzannemhoward.com and register for Soul Detox 2023. And to end off this live today, this last health check for 2022. Are you ready for 2023? We're going higher, we're going deeper. I'm on this as well. There's things that I, Dr. Vanessa Bolling, have to adjust and change, but I am serious about my health in 2023. I'm already serious now. I'm not waiting till 2023. I'm starting now. I encourage you, those who are watching the replay, let's get serious about our physical health. Our physical health incorporates our spirit, man, incorporates our soul. Let's get serious about 2023 and our physical health. It is so important. I don't know if you know, but every day, every week, there's a new drug coming out. There are plans for new medical advances. There are so many things that are up and coming, and even the medical community, medical industry, pharmacia, all these things that are coming out, and they are waiting for those of us who do not want to get our physical bodies in order. Because if we don't get in order, we're going to be sick, and we're going to live this sick life, this diseased filled life. So this is the time, this is the opportunity. You have the time now. If you're watching this live, you have the time now. Make a decision, not just because 2023 is around the corner. Make a decision, as I am making a decision, to really make my physical health an important factor, an important pursuit, a livelihood in 2023. We've got to do it. It's important. And write why it's important, because that's going to be your own internal motivation as to why you're making your physical health important. Is it because you want to see your great grandchildren? Is it because you want to be able to run in the park with your child? Is it because you want to fulfill God's purpose for your life and you don't want to be out of breath? Come on, this is the time. This is the time. This is the season. This is the moment where we have to choose life. We have the choice today between blessings and curses. I call on all of heaven to witness the decision that you and I make today. Oh, that we would choose life so that we can live and our descendants can live as well. Let's make this a priority. It is so important. Like I said, there's medical advances. I get emails about them every day. So I know I'm on the opposite end. And those who are also on the end of healthcare providers, you know as well, the emails, the meetings that we sit in, that's prepared for those of us who don't want to get our bodies right, that don't want to work out our soul disorders so that way our physical body can be in good health. This is the time. This is the moment. This is the opportunity. 2023 is around the corner. Yes, let's work on that motivation. If you're motivated about 2023, let's make it a priority. Work with that motivation and then begin to put what's important to you. Why is your physical health important to you? Because that's going to be what's internally motivating you to continue and making this a lifestyle. It may be uncomfortable. It may be trying. It's change, right? It's not hard. It's just different. It's not hard. It's just new. I'm speaking to myself as well, right? Because this is important for our physical. We've got things to do. There's great things coming in store in 2023, and we've got to make this a priority. Go ahead and put hashtag I choose life. Go ahead and put hashtag I choose life. Put how you're going to choose life. Come on, come on, come on. We got to get motivated. We got to get ready. We've got to get prepared. This is important. This is important, right? Go ahead and email kingdomhealthtah@gmail.com. If you have any questions, go ahead and put how you're going to choose life, maybe even how you're going to make your health a priority in 2023. Also post your questions here. I will go back, look at them, and encourage you along this journey, because we've this is important for us. This is the time. This is the time for our family. There's too many chronic conditions that's been taken out our families before the time. Not on our watch, right? It stops here. It stops here. Amen. Be blessed, everyone. I'll see you in 2023. We're going higher. In 2023, we will be talking about all things nutrition. All things nutrition. So that's the focus for 2023. So tune in with me in 2023. Be blessed, everyone, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.